Black Mirror is a show that has been running for a long time. If you don't remember the quirk of the show, let me remind you. Black Mirror goes over different realities that have a dark edge to them. An example that I made up is a loving family man who buys a VR headset or something and plays a fighting game with his best buddy until maybe they start having sex or something in the game. Oh, you're telling me that was real? Huh. Anyway, you get the idea. Dark perspectives on technology or extreme demonstrations of anything we do. It's very intriguing, with every episode being different and refreshing in some aspect. Of course, some episodes are more ass than others. Even so, it's an exciting show highlighting our weak points as people. I'm covering the newest season, which I'm pretty sure will contain a lot of AI in some way. I don't love seeing AI in media since it's been overplayed a lot in recent years, but it's a thing we're dealing with in real life, so I'm not really mad at it. Before we start, I'll tell you the format of this channel. I go episode by episode, then review each episode and give my final opinion at the end of the video. In this episode, we are introduced to a married couple, Amanda and Mike. Amanda is a teacher. She teaches her class about how robotic bees replace bees after they went extinct. She talks to a student who's being bullied since her shoes are old. They call her poor, a commoner.
Rat! Disgrace!
When school is over, Mike is outside, ready to take Amanda on their annual trip to a dinner for their anniversary. Amanda gets a headache, which isn't foreshadowing anything at all. We learn that they are trying to have a kid too, but Amanda isn't getting pregnant.
Far traveled, long.
That was quicker than I thought it was going to be. Amanda has a brain tumor and is now in a coma. The doctor tells Mike about a new treatment from a startup company that could be used to help her. The startup is Reverie, which makes a backup of the part of the brain that the tumor surrounds. Then they remove the tumor and replace the area with a synthetic backup that they made. The lady speaking to him is one of the first people who got the treatment. Her name is Gaynor, so, take that as you will. It all sounds too good to be true. It's Black Mirror, so of course, there's gonna be a side effect, like her gaining some robotic killer arms or something. Fucking, I don't know. Anyway, she got the treatment. She found out the treatment cost $300 a month, which isn't bad considering she was basically gonna be dead. They have to stay in their city now because the treatment relies on a Reverie server and a connection to the tower to work. Amanda is back to working, and Mike has to work overtime now to afford Amanda's $300 a month brain thing. He's overworking himself since it's a blue collar job. It's a lot of work on his body with barely any sleep. It's now been a year and it's the anniversary again.
I mean, we promised ourselves we'd always go on our anniversary, babe.
I just am saying we could celebrate at home.
I need a break, Amanda. I work my fucking arse off.
We both do.
I'm not saying you
just
don't.
you.
I'm not.
Wait, he's Irish? How did I not pick up on that? They drive a bit too far and lose connection to Amanda's brain. She blacked out, then he turns around and she's back to normal. They visit the Reverie lady and find out that they're upgrading the towers for Reverie Plus.
Rivermind Plus,
Plus,
a new subscription tier that has extended coverage, okay? So it makes great use of those upgraded towers. I'm gonna show you.
If you don't get the reference, it's a play on TV subscription services, overcharging customers for an experience that is only slightly better, but is twice the amount. I find this heavily ironic coming from Netflix, which started playing ads so that you would have to pay like $20 a month if you don't want to see them. Amanda and Mike can still have Reverie. The only downside is that they can't leave the county without paying for Reverie Plus, or Amanda will black out again.
You want a coffee?
yes, please, God. Yes, thank you. Have you tried espresso grande? The beans are roasted slow and long for a richer, smoother taste.
Can't say that I have.
In keeping theme with this parody, there are now ads placed in Amanda's head.
Honey. Kids love honey. That's why parents love Honey Nugs. Whole grain chunks covered in golden Tupelo honey. The sweetest way to start your day.
That's so freaky, bro. Also, Amanda isn't aware that she's doing these mini advertisements. It's kind of funny and sad because a kid in her class is having family trouble, like an abusive dad type trouble, and we just have Amanda doing an ad read in the middle of him talking about it.
Families that stay together bask in the glow of Christ's heart. For more information on faith-based family counseling, visit christsheart.com.
Mike and Amanda also try to have sex, but these ads kill the mood instantly.
Hoping for a hard time? Try Manville Erectile Dysfunction Gel. Side effects may include high blood pressure and suicidal ideation.
They have another meeting with the Rivermind lady. To get rid of these commercials, they would have to pay for Rivermind Plus. You know where this is heading, but let's continue anyway. Amanda got fired from work because she recommended religious services to her student and said random ads to the other kids. To solve this money problem, Mike becomes a degenerate streamer. That's not even a joke. It's a website called Dumb Dummies. The creators on the site are paid by the viewer to do whatever they want. It's just an average Kaisenet stream, so nothing too crazy. Mike is now able to afford Rivermind Plus, so Amanda is back to normal. During one of these streams, Mike has to put his tongue in a rat trap. Holy crap, his life is gonna suck for a while. Amanda is still sleeping over 12 hours. The Rivermind lady said that's because she's in sleeping mode. It is used to power the servers, so it's doing nothing good for Amanda.
Or you could move up to our exciting new tier.
Or premium users.
Well, Plus is actually now standard, but it is better than common. And this new tier, it is ultra premium. We call it Rivermind Lux.
I get it's supposed to be a parody of streaming services, but this is getting very extreme. The new tier is called Rivermind Lux, and it costs $1,000 on top of what they're paying already, which is already $800 a month. It's the couple's anniversary again for the third time. Mike got the Rivermind Plus pack for their little getaway. What comes included in this pack is heightening the person's senses with an app. So they turn up Amanda's pleasure up by a lot. It makes her seem like she's on Molly. Mike is at work and everyone is staring at him because everyone knows about what he's done. Mike knows who showed their coworkers. He fought the guy and then this happens.
This freaking motherfucker!
Honestly, he was a dick, so I'm not really upset about that. Anyway, he got fired, and they decide to talk to the Rivermind lady about keeping the subscription. However, that doesn't go well because they have to pay for it anyway. We cut to a year in the future. Mike is a very sad man. Amanda is still alive. They use the app thing for her to feel better. She tells Mike that she believes it's time to leave, which means dying, by the way.
Are you filled with dread? Racked with despair?
Babe, not yet.
Let the sunshine in with Endorphox antidepressant lozenges.
What the hell? That was very sad, but also kind of funny at the same time. Not gonna lie. This was a great story. I know the lady who played Amanda from Parks and Rec, but I have no idea the guy who played Mike though. They both did great in this. The emotion, the sadness of Amanda dying at the end, that was great. The guy who got run over was not a good dude anyway, so I did not feel that I didn't feel bad. I didn't show it in the beginning because it was too short, but he was a viewer of the live stream site they were using. He was not a good dude, and him posting a screenshot of Mike on the board was an a-hole thing to do. Anyway, enough of that degenerate. I found this concept really interesting because it seems that our reality is heading that way in some sort. With capitalism going into overdrive and people trying to get money any way they can. Everything has a subscription plan, so I don't think it's far off from reality. There was a lot of dark humor in this. I'm usually not a biggest fan of dark humor. I usually find it edgy and what my 12-year-old self would find funny. But it was pretty well used in this. I found the ending very humorous, kinda. I don't know the right word because I wouldn't say funny since I didn't laugh out loud, but it was like entertaining in a weird way. The ad being played as she's being like suffocated was very appropriately timed. In conclusion, this episode was great. For the rest of the stories next. We meet our new main character, Maria, who's very British and works at a chocolate company of some sort and is the head of the flavor department, which means she develops recipes. They get a group of people to try the new candy bar, and a girl that Maria knows from school walks in. Variety. Verity. They try the new candy bar and most of them don't like it besides Verity. For some reason, she even convinces the rest of the group that it was good. They run into each other in the bathroom. Verity says that she applied to work there as well. If you couldn't tell already, she has a stalker type of vibe to her.
I was such a geek at school, wasn't I? Well, I lived in the computer room. Yeah, you were. I'm amazed you remember me at all because you were definitely popular.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, especially compared to me.
I'm so ugly!
After that awkward conversation, Maria heads home and tells her boyfriend about everything that happened. She tells him that Verity was weird back in school. Something was off about her, and weird rumors surrounded her name. The next day, Maria's boss announces that Verity is their new research assistant to the office. Maria is not happy about this and complains to her about it, but he says that she's overqualified and has no reason not to be there. The boss assigns Verity to watch over Maria to see her process with food research and creating recipes. Her little team area had a little argument about the name of a chicken place called Bernie's, which is actually spelled with a B-A instead of a B-E, if you have been paying attention at all. That's weird because we saw a hat from that company that belongs to Travis that says Bernie's with a B-E. Also, Travis is her boyfriend. Maria goes back home and finds the hat, and it's Barney's. She starts to freak out and looks at old high school photos and finds Verity in one of them. She also tries to contact with one of her old classmates, Natalie. The next day, some dude from a candy company tries a new candy. The guy is Hindi, so he can't eat beef, and one of the candy he ate contained beef gelatin without knowing. Maria gets mad because Verity messed up the ingredient list because Maria said carotene gelatin, but Verity said Maria said no pork gelatin. You can guess what happened next. Verity was right again. My biggest guess is that she has some godly power of gaslighting that affects the entire world. Maria talks with her boyfriend about the whole email thing. He also thinks that Verity is not a bad person and Maria is just overreacting. We also find out Natalie, the old school friend, died suddenly a few days ago. She took her own life. And in the weeks leading up to it, she wasn't being herself. Maria believes that Verity is responsible in some way. It's now Friday. Maria bumps into Verity in the morning.
I mean, I know you didn't think much of me at school.
I didn't think anything of you at school, Verity. I hardly even noticed you. You even said yourself you were always in the computer room. I'm sorry, but you didn't really cross my mind very often.
People said stuff about me.
I don't know, did they?
About me and Mr. Kendrick.
Verity talks about the rumor that her and the computer teacher were sleeping together and how it was not true. She also says that after he transferred schools, she was super lonely. Maria apologizes for how she acted. Why is she being so aggressive about it? Verena makes it seem like Maria drank the one lady's almond milk.
Oh my God, it was her. Okay, it was Verity. She drank the whole thing right in front of me.
Why are you doing this?
Because you are a fucking freak.
Okay, enough.
The boss says that there is a camera they can check and go see.
Jesus Christ, Maria.
I didn't do that. That is not even possible. I've got a nut allergy.
No such thing as a nut allergy.
What's nut allergy?
Oh shit, her necklace has powers! Maria was fired for fighting with Verity. She follows her home to find out she lives in this giant mansion. Maria sneaks in the place and finds a server room. Verity is in the shower and Maria found the necklace. But now she has to hide under Verity's bed because she's out of the shower.
I will call the police.
Apparently Verity's necklace is a remote to the quote quantum compiler downstairs. She starts to use the remote to control reality. Verity hates Maria for starting the rumor of her sleeping with their teacher. Verity talks about how she lived as a god for a long time and how her school life still kept her down. Damn. Okay, with a remote that makes you control reality and you don't make yourself an expert in any combat sport, why? She instead says that the armed police are there. Oh damn.
She shot herself. It wasn't me. You saw the whole thing.
I know. Who is she?
Anyway, Maria makes herself the Empress of the Universe. What the hell was this episode? I did not expect that ending at all. I figured Verity had godlike powers, but not to that extent. The necklace power concept was actually really cool, mostly because it was something I would have came up with in like a middle school while drawing or something. However, the way Verity used it was so stupid. I get that she did anything anyone would want, but you didn't make yourself a master in anything? No martial art or our expert boxer in the middle of a fight? I feel like everyone, the majority of guys, have thought about something like this or wish for powers. Like something like kind of like soul leveling type where you can upgrade and get like strong. But this bitch didn't do that. Shit, if I could now, I would do that today. Verity getting revenge on the girls who made fun of her was also dumb. You have that much power and control and you're just gonna waste it on that? Maria basically taking Verity's place or whatever was also kind of dumb, but I could see her doing that. It was just such a random ending. I felt like it was more like a dream than a Black Mirror episode. We meet with Brandy, an A-list actor who zones out a lot. She hates the role she's keep getting, like being a side piece of Ryan Gosling. Alright, who would complain about that? Brandy talks about Hotel Reverie, an old British romance movie from the 1930s. Her agent mentions that it's getting rebooted with high-tech equipment, and Brandy wants to be a part of it, but she wants to play the lead instead of being a side character. Anyway, she got the role as the lead. She goes to the studio, and the system they are using to recreate this movie is called a Redream. Basically, Brandy's gonna be put inside the movie, almost like VR, except sorta online type, and Brandy's consciousness or whatever will be put in the movie.
Sinking realms.
Low key, that reminded me of the Ben 10 transformation in Alien Force. Anyway, Brandy is now in the movie. She has to say all the lines and do everything her male counterpart has done. Brandy is saying all she needs to say and is going according to the script. Well, until now, she has to keep playing the piano since it's part of the script, and the heroine's drink was poisoned as well, because that's also in the script. Everything is falling apart with the heroine falling out of attraction, Brandy calling her actress's name instead of her character's name by accident. Keep in mind, everyone in the simulation believes they are real, even though they are all AI. When Brandy mentioned the actress's name, the heroine's AI became more self-aware. Anyway, a dog drank the poison that was on the ground, causing a plot hole to happen. Because of this and AI issues, Brandy cannot be put out of the movie. They decide Brandy has to finish the movie or she will die. A lot of stuff happens. To sum it up, Brandy did a good job of seducing the heroine. A really good job. Oh shit! Well, that's not good. Time has been frozen, except for Brandy and the heroine. The heroine is confused because Brandy calls out to the studio.
Alex! I'm not Alex!
Bro, what are you doing? Brandy explains to the heroine that they're in a movie. Obviously, she's confused. Brandy is shattering her world, saying her world is not real.
No.
What reaction were you expecting? Later, Brandy apologized to the heroine and continued to explain the situation they're in. The days in the movie are 7 seconds in reality, but feel way longer to Brandy and heroine. Also, the heroine's name is Dorothy. Well, that's the actress's name, not the character. I'm gonna call her that now anyway. It's easier. She's trying to escape the world they're in. Dorothy stepped out of the world and figured out that she was in love with a woman behind the set in real life. Also, her life was just sad. So, typical Black Mirror. She goes back to the movie world and she starts to play the piano too. We get a little montage of Brandy and Dorothy being all romantic and stuff. The days pass and they fall in love.
I love you.
Damn, that was quick. The people on the outside figured out that they have a save point and go back to the kissing scene from earlier. Brandy's a bit heartbroken by this since she fell in love. Now she has to go back to acting as her character. They have to rush the rest of the film because of all of the stuff that happened so far. The big final fight between the heroine's husband and Brandy is happening. That was not supposed to happen. Brandy frames herself for the murder of the husband. Then Dorothy grabs a gun, and when the police show up, she shoots one of them. Brandy is not happy about this, but she says the final line of the play. She's now awake from the whole thing. Later, she goes back home to find a box that contains a USB and a microphone that she's able to talk to the heroine through the Redream software. And that's the end of the episode. At first, I didn't like this episode, and then I got okay by the end of it. This episode just did not intrigue me in any way like the other two. It felt more predictable, and the acting was not great. Mostly what I mean by the acting is from the girl who played Brandy and that one lady who was in Shang-Chi. I don't like that girl from Shang-Chi. She's like, I don't know, she does too much. She plays the same character every time. I don't like her. I don't know, like Brandy, the way her carried herself, her voice felt like she was trying to act. I have never seen her in anything but this, so I don't know how she sounds. But the other actors did great. The lady who played the heroine was amazing. She was great. She felt like she was from the 1930s, and it was in that time period. She did really well. She definitely had the best performance in this episode. The plot points were simple. The twists were well done. If I had to rank this, it would be on the lower end. We start this episode in London in 2034. We meet an old British man, Cameron Walker, who tries to steal alcohol. The police see on their futuristic device thing that he's suspected of murder and detain him in a small room. The police visit his flat. Oh, I gotta say that in British. The police visit his flat, and his room is very messy and weird. Okay, that was so bad. Never mind. And they visit his room with very weird drawings everywhere. The detective chief inspector, Kano, mogs our main character with his hollow cheeks. He questions Cameron about a suitcase that had a dead body inside that they found in 1994. Cameron starts rambling on about his childhood and how abusive his dad was. Blah, 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 blah. He starts talking about himself in 1994. We get a flashback of him during this time. Cameron was a video game reviewer. His boss asked him to test a game that was made by a huge gaming company guy, Colin Rittman. He meets with the dude.
In print, you're strident, but in the flesh, you have the air of someone who's ashamed to exist. No criticism. I like it. The world is vicious and people are awful. Perpetual terror would be a rational response. Take a pew.
Colin says that the game he made isn't a game, whatever that means. He says that the game is to elevate life and that it's life itself. It's one of those like mobile farm games in a way, but the creatures in the game have living code. There is no goal in the game, they just need to be cared for. All the things they do, the guy didn't code, so it's just the creatures being themselves in a way. Cameron later steals the game, telling the police he stole it because it wanted to be taken. He took care of the creature in the game, and then the creature started multiplying. Cameron has like one friend, some crackhead named Lump. You guessed it, he's a drug dealer who gave Cameron acid. He went back to his video game on acid and thought he understood their language. They told him to buy more computer equipment. I'm guessing that the video creatures want to expand and grow in their society, but Cameron can only understand them on acid, so he bought a boatload off this one gross guy. He began to understand them more deeply over time, but he had to rely on that acid to do so. His boss called him in when he was slammed by drugs. A very fun time. Anyway, he pulls up to work while he was at work doing whatever. Cameron's best bud, drug dealer guy, finds a video game on his computer and goes all dictator, killing them. Not gonna lie, that was a little satisfying. That splat was like a nice... Cameron's boss tells him that he can go home because the company that made the game with living code is shutting down the project. Cameron goes home to find the drug dealer killing the creatures.
You're killing them! They're gonna be an extinguisher or something!
It's a game, you twat!
Your fucking mechanism's done!
Damn, he got violent. The dealer attacks Cameron, but he has that acid strength and chokes him to death. The future Cameron brings up that humans are still thinking about the same things we did thousands of years ago. Violent and afraid, which he's honestly correct about. War and territories are still being fought over to this day. When we gain something new or accomplish a goal, that becomes our new normal. So then we chase after something else. Sorry to get all big brain for a second, now back to fart jokes. Cameron saw the dealer's body and dumped it in the middle of the woods. He goes off on how the game creatures were afraid of him after watching humans be so violent. He gained trust by multiplying them and using new technology to improve them. Not only that, but he even installed a device in his neck to merge with them. He tells them that he got arrested on purpose to deliver a message from the creatures. He needs a pen and paper to do so. The cop gets mad and speaks with the lady next to him outside, who's a psychologist by the way, about how much of a psycho he is. They decide to give Cameron a pen and paper anyway.
Was it possible to breach the firewall from outside? This is a simple program they wrote that commands your state computer to open a back door for the throng.
Oh shit, he's doing something. Digital creatures are now combining everything available, including humans. Oh dang. This was 100% the best episode so far. Cameron allowing this creature hive mind thing to take over the world was not how I thought it was going to go, but I thought they were going to only take over technology, not humans as well. I do wish they would have shown us what happened afterwards, since I can't really imagine what it would be like. All humans just basically went AFK for a while, so I don't know if they all died or all of them are going to be robots, hive mind type. The style of this episode was also very cool. It was artsy. The aspect ratio is what I've seen on those stylized YouTube videos, which can be cool. The acting was also a lot better than last episode. I believe the characters everyone is playing, especially the two who played Cameron, did a great job showing the antisocial and evil genius side in their acting. Overall, great episode and a great premise and acting and all that. We are introduced to an older man, Philip, getting a call about a woman, Carol, who passed away. They don't say, but I'm going to take a wild guess. It was an ex-spouse of his or ex-girlfriend or whatever. The guy who called is from a company called Eulogy. Immersive memorial, whatever that means.
It was all so long ago, and I can't,
Well, you won't have to write anything. The Eulogy system curates your recollections and uploads them for the memorial.
Oh, so that's what that means. He gets a kit to do the memorial thing. The package contains a nickel kind of thing, but it has a speaker on it. And a woman gives him the rehearsed speech that she has to tell. The woman tells him to place the thing on his temple and remember Carol. He isn't able to do that, so she requests to find a photo of her to try to remember her. The Circle and Philip are very passive aggressive to each other. The Circle can put Philip in one of these photos to be able to see Carol's face. It's a very weird experience for him to relive this photo. He's brought back to reality and goes through another photo. They play music that can maybe jog his memory a little bit. He remembers how great Carol was and how they slept together at a party or something. But they can't use any of these photos by far because there's no face attached to these photos. In the third photo, he was listening to Carol play an instrument but couldn't see Carol's face. The other photos were semi-destroyed because he was heartbroken by her. She left without saying a word, and Philip's life fell apart.
Me and Carol were together 3 years. It took me 15 to climb out of the hole she put me in. So, yes, I was upset.
They were also in a band together, so, you know, they were the cool kids. The AI lady keeps bringing up that Carol wanted to play the cello in the band, but she had to play the keyboard. Oh, no, I can't play the cello. Shut up. Hinting that maybe Philip was the problem in the relationship, not allowing Carol to do what she wanted. Also in another photo, Philip's coworker was being all flirty with them, and the AI lady suggests that Carol was jealous. Philip talks about how a British friend of his got Carol a job in the UK. While his girlfriend was in England, Philip kind of cheated on Carol with his coworker from earlier. The AI lady is confused about how he can be so angry at Carol, even though he was the one who did almost all the bad stuff. Then he tells her that he proposed to Carol when he was in England.
And she's just staring at the floor, so I bang the table with my fist, and now everybody's watching. And she just gets up and walks out.
Dang, this guy's very sad.
She looked sort of different, wouldn't drink. She was pregnant. With me.
What? I thought she was AI. This guy, or whatever she is Carol's daughter, but not.
I'm not real. I'm a disposable avatar. A temp guide and echo, really.
The AI lady talks with him about Philip being a bad boyfriend. Philip takes a disposable camera to a shop to get one photo he extracted. However, it turned out to be a random photo of trash when he got rejected. He did find a letter, though, that was addressed to him from Carol. The letter tells him that she was pregnant and that she wanted to meet with him later, but he never even got the letter, so he wasn't able to do that. Philip's in a little bit of a better mood now. He listens to the music she played in one of the photos. Then he sees her face, and we end up at the funeral. This was a great episode, probably my personal favorite by far. It wasn't as sci-fi as the others, which I liked. It felt more real and grounded than the others as well. The actor for Philip did a great job. His character felt real, the deep resentment he felt for a loved one, then coming to terms with how badly he acted towards her and how he had to deal with her death. The hotel felt like it was trying to do something similar too, but failed. The actress for the episode just was not good. Her emotion didn't feel real to me. It felt like an actress acting, not a character. This episode wasn't some big world plot ending, this person could die. No, it was just a guy just reliving his past and looking back on how he acted and just reflecting on how he used to be. I like that more. Overall, this episode was amazing and deep. Probably the best episode I've seen so far in this season. Okay, before we start, this apparently is a continuation of another episode from season 4. So for context, I will do both parts. You guys better be grateful for this. We start this episode by seeing Robert going to work at some high-tech, sci-fi type place. He's very awkward, like painful to watch type awkward.
Are you making coffees?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe you could make me one too?
Sure. What do you want?
Just vanilla latte. Skim milk.
Yeah, good call.
He goes into his office. He's the chief technical officer at Callister, the company they work at. A lady knocks on his door, Nanette. She just started working today and wanted to thank Robert for his work because he's super smart and stuff. She looks around his office and there's a lot of off-brand Star Trek merch. If you couldn't tell, this guy is a mega virgin. Robert is also the co-owner of the company, which no one would know if you looked at him. The other owner comes in and greets Natalie, giving her a tour of the place. Obviously trying to sleep with her. We got to Robert at his apartment. It's low-key kind of cool besides the Star Trek merch. I would love to live there. Also, that computer setup is crazy. Bro, you gonna have chicken tenders too? Huh? He puts a circular thing on his head, similar to the others we've seen in the season, and goes into a Star Trek type world filled with people from his work. If you couldn't tell, in the simulation, Robert is the big penis leader of this space group. It's kind of like the weird anime kid out of school. He's all strange and quiet, and then at home, he's the alpha male. I'm that kid. He exits the game and then we go to this next day at work. Lets him know that whatever project they are working on is being pushed to Christmas Eve. He gets in a better mood when Nanette asks what type of coffee he wants.
Do you have a thing for him? Really? No. It's not like that.
Oh, that hurts to hear. When everyone is clocking out, Robert grabs Annette's coffee cup, goes home, and puts that DNA into his computer. You guessed it, Robert put Nanette inside his weird Star Trek game that I'm pretty sure their company worked on. She's a bit confused, and the others explain what happened to her. Her DNA was copied and put inside the game Infinity, but Robert heavily modified it in a private server. They all try to comfort her because they can never leave. She tries to leave, and she insults Robert a lot.
What, are you gonna throw a fireball?
My goodness! Absolute torture. She agreed to work with him after doing whatever that was. Half of the team goes to another planet for a reason I can no longer remember.
We meet again, Captain Daly!
Okay, I think that's the reason. Robert has to pause the game because his pizza arrived at his house. They resume the story when he comes back.
Final words.
Over there! A naked lady!
Really?
Don't blame him. I would also fall for that. Anyway, the villain begs to die, but Robert lets him go, and he's taken to their space prison. They celebrate, and Robert kisses all of the women except Nanette because she slaps him. He lets her go for today since he's feeling generous.
Stealing my pussy is a red fucking line.
For context, Robert stole all the NPC's genitals because it wasn't PG. Nanette wants to get back at him, so she hacks into the game system and sends a message to her outside self for help. However, Nanette tells Robert about this message at work, so that's not good. Robert goes back into the game at work. He's obviously mad at her. What the hell? Robert did that to punish them for trying to escape. Anyway, he leaves and now everyone is depressed until Nanette notices an update patch in the distance, which could kill them, but that's better where they are right now. She wants the team to fly into the wormhole, and they decide to blackmail the outside Nanette by using her own nudes against her. However, Walton, the boss from outside, is against the idea. He talks about how he was the first one that was brought in the game and how Robert copied his son in the game only to kill him in front of Walton. Okay, at first, I felt bad for Robert. He was always treated poorly by others for how he looked and acted, but killing a copy of the boss you hate's kid, what's the point of doing that? Then Walton brings up the fact that Robert could bring his son back any moment and kill him again and again. Nevertheless, they try to do the plan they talked about, which was to get Robert's controller thingy to be able to control the ship to go into the wormhole. To do that, Robert and Nanette go on a solo mission to another planet. Nanette seduces Robert to get in a pond area. That works, since if you can remember, he's a mega virgin beta male. The others teleport the remote. They go through Nanette's photos until they found the nudes they were looking for.
Elliot, you fucking asshole.
The team calls her. They go make her go to Robert's house and order pizza to make him freeze again. Outside, Nanette goes to Robert's fridge and grabs all the food that contained the team's DNA. She also replaced Robert's circular disc thing with a fake. The team has to go through a bunch of asteroids to get to the wormhole. Also, Robert is back in the game. He is now chasing them. The next 5 minutes is a pretty epic space race. Well, not anymore. Walton fixes the engine but burns up in the process. Robert is on their tail, but then they pass through the update wormhole. But for some reason, they aren't dead. Instead, all of them are in the cloud server of the actual game. Walton and the other girl are back now. They are now free to roam without Robert. Speaking of Robert, he kinda died since the game updated, the older version was deleted, and Robert couldn't exit out of the game. Now we go to the part 2. We meet with Nanette, having nightmares of her time with Robert as their leader. They are basically pirates now, stealing in-game cash from players. The 5 of them are against over 30 million players who respawn, but they do not. We meet with Nanette from the outside. When she clocks in, she sees a little picture of Robert Daly on the Russian lady's desk. Nanette was a little freaked out by it, but heads to the office. Kabir talks to the big boss, Walton guy, about the people in the game with no gamer tags robbing the other players. Walton couldn't care less because a reporter from the New York Times is showing up any second now. And they're here. Nanette watches from afar because she low-key killed Robert on accident. She also hacks into the security camera in the office and listens in. The reporter mentions the pirates from the game and also Robert Daly's death. Then he brings up the outlaw tech that was used by Robert to, send the team in the game with the DNA stuff.
Did Robert Daly copy illegal clones into your game?
Absolutely not.
Because if he did, and if that's who's bleeding in there, then his whole company is implicated, including you, Mr. Walton.
Damn, I like this reporter. Walton threatens the reporter to leave, and he does just that. Also, Kabir quit his job, so that makes Walton not very happy. However, Nanette offers to help get rid of these game pirates. Speaking of the game, Nate and Nanette are back to another Viking hunt for some cash. I forgot to mention this before, but the lady from part 1 died. That seemed important, but it slipped my mind for a second. Anyway, they are in the forest and find a girl who looks like she has a lot of cash. Dang! You could guess that Nanette was hurt by that, but at the same time, the team is dealing with their own problem. A ship is approaching them and seems a bit dangerous. Luckily, Nate hit the girl in the back of the head before she killed Nanette. Oh shit, she respawned. She got killed again and respawns again as well. Everyone is getting shot at until they are finally brought back to the ship and escape. Outside, Nanette is working on the no gamer tag situation and comes across what we just watched.
Tag night. You cheating or what? We just want credits, okay? We need them more than you.
She finally figures out why Robert had their DNA in like the fridge. She tells Walton that she thinks Robert cloned some of the people from the office. She tells him what happened in part 1. Walton is freaked out by this, but Nanette asks if they could find and get rid of them. The team comes up with a new plan of surviving, creating their own server or universe of some sort so they don't have to rely on in-game cash to survive. To do this, they have to go into the heart of Infinity's hardcore software that is shaped like a planet. However, only 2 people can access it, Robert Daly and Walton, which both of them are dead. The real Nanette and Walton found Robert's old computer. She finds the code that contained the team and at the same time found where they might be, which also is the same place that the team thinks Walton got respawned after he died. We now go to the planet where Walton was stationed at. When he respawned, he's now low-key jacked and has a beard. Yeah, he's basically just a caveman, until he snaps out of it and agrees to come with her on the ship. But he's to grab something first. The real Walton and Nanette are now on the same planet as their versions of themselves. The real version and the game versions finally meet and bring all 4 of them on board to the ship. The team explains the situation of surviving, then real Walton shoots and kills the one guy with the headband, causing everyone to hate him. He's killed and real Nanette kicks him and runs out of there. She also quits.
And don't even think.
Oh shit, Walton grabbed the device thingy off her body and skedaddles out of there. The team is having a hard time dealing with the death of that one gym bro guy, but luckily Game Walton distracts them with a story that happened 20 years ago. It was when he first met with Robert. When they first started working together, Robert was still obsessed with the Star Trek stuff. Robert showed him the first version of the game they are in right now. Walton seizes the opportunity to be even more rich than he already was, but then ran into a problem. They were trying to make 50 plans before a certain deadline, but Robert only had 9. Walton did the unlawful thing and brought in the DNA cloner that Walton had invested into before it got outlawed. Walton used this DNA to have Robert work on the project. Then he brings up the heart of the game and that how they wanted to go inside of it. It's revealed that that holds the copied version of Robert and him doing all the slaving away at work stuff. Oh my gosh, that's so much to say. I'm gonna take a breather. Hearing all this makes Nanette worried about her real life self. She thinks that Walton might do something. Then right there and there, she finds out her outside self is in a very deep coma and might not live. The team is now in front of the Heart of Infinity, and they send Nanette to talk with Robert. Nanette sees Robert just making planets, then they notice each other. He introduces himself. This version of Robert isn't as weird as the one we met in part 1 because he's not traumatized. While that was happening, outside Walton knocked out Game Walton and replaced him. He then gets caught immediately, but Walton invited every player they robbed to a party to get them killed. We get a bunch of cameos from YouTubers, including Dan TDM and that one loud British kid. Nanette told Robert about what happened on the outside. Then he realizes that he was the bad guy in that entire situation. Robert agrees to get her and her team into a private server, but then Robert tells her that he could send her consciousness back into her body. However, the big side effect of this is that the ship she was on would be wiped, which means killing the team. So that's not great. However, that was just a trick. Robert just wanted to see what she would choose, to see if she was worthy or something. Nanette chose to save the team, so he made a disc thing that could save everybody. Everything was going fine and dandy until Robert was planning to copy Nanette so he could have a person to talk to. This causes them to fight, and for Robert to use his godlike powers to calm Nanette down.
I just wanted to be friends, and I wanted you to stay. I don't want to hurt you. I just wanted you to stay. I swear, I'm a nice guy, okay?
That's not fun. Okay, so now the Heart of Infinity is getting deleted. Nanette grabs one of the discs while the team is getting shot down. The game got shot down or something. The team is still alive, but the twist is that they're inside Nanette's brain. They call her and let her know that they're inside her brain. Walton calls Kabir, only to find out the game he created was deleted. We get a little epilogue. Walton is going to prison, and Nanette and the team are enjoying their time together. She's working on extracting them from her brain, which will probably be an episode in like a few years. First, I'm gonna go over part 1 and 2 of the Infinity stuff. It was all great, honestly. I love the idea of playing a game like that. Not it being Star Trek or whatever, I don't like that stuff. But if they had like a fighting game like they did with the gay episode, no offense. The guy who played Robert did a great job at playing that type of character. You could feel how not great his life was going. Even though he was rich, he just didn't have respect, and he just wanted that. Which, for a bunch of reasons, who knew that an antisocial smart guy would turn out to be not great at interacting with people, you know? The twist at the end was crazy. At least they are probably going to escape her mind, but we'll see that later in season 12 of something. I don't know. The lady who played Nanette did a great job as well. I didn't realize until I looked it up, but she was in the show The Penguin and Wolf of Wall Street. I thought that was cool, so, you know, I noted that. Also, as a last and final thought, I wanted to point out this seemed more like a Rick and Morty episode than Black Mirror, which I preferred. I don't know what about it, but it seemed less like a typical Black Mirror episode and more of like a side episode of Rick and Morty or some show like that. This whole season was really good. For me, the standouts were Eulogy and Infinity, both for completely different reasons. Eulogy felt real, like a man coming to terms with how he treated a past partner, realizing that he was the problem even though he was hurt by her. The episode had a lot of weight for me personally. I don't know why, but it did, and I like that. I think it's because that could be us, man or woman, being hurt by a partner and having our pride get in the way of solving things. That's why I like that episode. The reason I liked Infinity, because it was a fun pew pew episode with good action and visuals. The one episode I didn't like, the hotel one, the premise was way more boring. I did not care. The acting wasn't great. I feel like I was watching porn with how she was acting. Plaything was a great episode, heavily artistic and stylized with the aspect ratio being different. The rest of the episodes felt like Black Mirror, just the typical stuff. Common People was decent, but it felt like a parody more than of like a standalone thing. To be fair, I haven't watched Black Mirror in like 3 years, so I don't know. Anyway, bye bye now.